Well, hey there, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining us today on Cinema Recap. So we're just gonna jump right into this one. Something about Fantasy Island. Spoilers ahead. We start off in the jungle with some ominous dripping sounds. We're only about a minute in and someone's already being chased. It's a blonde woman. Shocking. Wonder what those guys want. There are easier and less creepy ways to get a chick's number. She breaks through the jungle to find a big, nice-looking house. She runs inside because there's definitely no chance that there's a rich bad guy in there somewhere. Don't answer it. Okay, or answer it. It's some man. She tells him that she's been kidnapped and taken to some island. Wait, how does he know her name?
It will all be fine, Mrs. Madison.
Probably because he took you there, dummy. Well, the young woman, Mrs. Madison, apparently is definitely not safe. Nice kick. She put up a decent fight, I'll give her that. Mr. Rourke, huh? Something tells me our funny man isn't going to be that funny in this movie. It's his resort, and he has a plane arriving with some unsuspecting guests. Bunch of single people? Anyway, there's a bro couple who look like they just want to live their best partying life. Then there's a man trying to help the pretty lady Gwen off the plane. She's hot, Patrick, but I guess she can kick your ass. At least a different version of her could. They've come to Fantasy Island. Apparently all of them want a paid trip there. The guests take turns guessing about Mr. Rourke and how he's so loaded. Is he some kind of guru? The host lady, Julia, tells them that on the island, anything and everything is possible.
Oh, yes.
Like magic? Too good to be true, probably. There's too much of a cryptic place that's going to try and kill you vibe here.
You guys high five.
Alright, the bro couple's getting annoying really fast. Cringy. Clearly single. Okay, that's one big red flag. But okay, they're on a secluded island that doesn't have cell towers. I'll give them that. The guests are welcome to the bar for some drinks, but someone's watching them. Hey, shouldn't he be blue and floating around in space somewhere? Or maybe killing zombies with a sword arm? No matter what, this guy's probably not someone they want to run into. Or maybe he is. Who knows? Baby bro? The hotel staff isn't helping my suspicions that something's amiss with this place.
There's no need for money.
Right. Probably because you're gonna kill them all. Or maybe I'm just being paranoid. The single folks are taken to their bungalow, and our blonde girl admires a picture of a guy. Bad breakup, maybe. Gwen's room has some hella good lighting. Sun's making your skin glow, girl.
Is that your life is about to change.
What'd she just say? What? These people are making me uncomfortable. In case things couldn't get any weirder. Telepathic powers? Mind control? It's a good thing she had a tissue. Wouldn't want to ruin that white uniform. Gwen's in her bungalow when she hears that same annoying dripping from earlier. There's wet footsteps. Come on, it's gonna ruin the hardwood. Time for a creepy thing and mirror jump scare. Everyone's back at the bar, and the blonde is drinking for two. And I don't mean she's pregnant. Apparently, the bros haven't been taken to their room yet. They try to talk to an employee, but they get ignored. Weird. Maybe it's mind control.
Dude, racist?
Yeah, Patrick, don't be racist. Melanie decides to take it upon herself to find some fun for the evening, and she'd like that to include Patrick. Not sure if he's picking up what she's putting down, but it's pretty obvious. The guests take turns joking about how the island experience is like virtual reality of LARPing. Sure, you learned from dorks, JD. Yeah, no one's believing you. Holograms, hallucinogens, these people have vivid imaginations. Maybe Rourke can make their dreams come true. Or maybe they're nightmares. Let's hope so. Rourke tells them that there's one fantasy per guest, and that they have to see their fantasies through to the very end. Well, I guess it better be a good fantasy then.
One fantasy per guest.
The bros were complaining about not having their rooms yet, which it's apparently for a good reason.
Your fantasy begins now.
This man just make an entire party appear. Fireworks and beautiful people, and whatever the heck that guy's using in the pool. Well, yeah, I'd say that's a fantasy for a lot of folks. Brax doesn't like the ladies though. What about him? I'd say Rourke got all of them. Being a killer host must be a superpower, pun intended. The guys are having the time of their lives when Brax sees the same swamp man that Gwen saw earlier. Not sure it's gonna help, buddy. We jump back to Gwen. She seems to have had a good night's sleep, but that's quickly ruined. Apparently Milton doesn't know how to knock.
Good morning.
Rourke wants to see her. He's asking about her fantasy, which is apparently unorthodox compared to most people's. Gwen's asking if this is a therapy session or a vacation. She's full of regret, and he wants to help her with that. I wouldn't trust him either. Maybe this is where the virtual reality thing comes into play.
Behind those doors, is your fantasy?
Is there only door number 1? Nothing seems right, but I'm guessing Rourke is pretty good at appealing to what people want. Sounds like he'd make a good salesman or a lawyer in a life where he wasn't doing whatever shady stuff he's up to. What is that damn dripping? So she opens the door, and it's the restaurant her ex proposed to her in, and he hasn't aged a day. It's like she's back in time. Gwen's not the only one confused now. He says that this is her chance to change her regretful decision. Well, we'll see how this works out. Now we're with Melanie, the forward girl from earlier. She's talking to Patrick, and they're sharing fantasies with each other. She wants revenge on a bully from her childhood, and he wants to know what it's like to be a soldier. Revenge on a bully doesn't sound terrible, but I'm not sure about getting shot at in the military. Are those decorative dog tags?
For luck.
Rourke shows up and says that it's Melanie's turn for her fantasy.
Push up, sir. Crunch it.
Did he just tell Patrick to go exercise? Goes to show you what he thinks of that guy. Okay. Anyone noticing the snake theme here? Not the dripping again. Melanie's taken into a basement that has the biggest Saw vibes ever. If you didn't think you were in a horror movie, well, you might now. She's approaching the situation pretty well for how creepy it is, even filming it like a true millennial. Red flashing button. Considering the way things have been going so far, it's no surprise what we see next. It's her bully, Sloane. She looks familiar. Is that the girl from the very beginning? A sophisticated hologram. She finds a letter that tells her there's a variety of buttons for a variety of revenge. Well, Sloane, you're about to regret all the things that you did to that girl. Too bad for her, Melanie doesn't realize that she's not a hologram. She takes some enjoyment out of shocking her and dumping toilet water on her.
Toilet water. Yes.
Things change from physical torture to emotional when suddenly there's a video that shows Sloane cheating on her husband, and then it's posted to Facebook. Wah wah. Melanie realizes that this isn't a joke. Remember though, Rourke said you had to see your fantasy through to the very end. He's definitely not going to let her stop now. Now that we've seen how literally he takes these fantasies, it might be safe to say that our guy Patrick is in some serious trouble.
Call the duty time.
Oh, I guess he does play. So, this dude, who has no military training, is expected to go out and fight like a soldier in the jungle. Not long after he's alone, he's confronted by that same weird guy with the machete that was watching him earlier. He's looking like he probably smells really bad. And just like that, he ditches Patrick when some guy in a uniform shows up. At least he has some better survival instincts than the others. They really still think this is some kind of vacation. Patrick tries to play into the storyline of the fantasy, but screws it up, cause he didn't think they'd be so serious.
I hate surprises. And liars.
Okay, well, that didn't last long. The guys definitely have the easiest fantasy to fulfill ever. Just party for days and you should be fine. Brack spent some fun time with Alejandro. Looks like JD's hung up on some chick named Jenny though. Somehow chastity wasn't enough to keep his mind off his ex for one night. Come on, JD. Jenny can't be that great. The heart wants what it wants. JD and Brax talk about how Brax should move out of his brother's house. But apparently JD enjoys his company and being single because most girls aren't going to want to share with your bro. Now, we're back with Gwen. She's trying to go along with the fantasy and says yes to Alan's proposal like she regretted not doing the first time around. She knows though that there's something up with this whole charade.
It's just a fantasy.
But for how long? The bros were changing in their bungalow when they found some secret room full of guns. Guys, I don't know if you're supposed to be seeing that stuff. Their bright idea is to play with grenades. And Alejandro, the guys that have Patrick, heard it too. Well, I bet you're wishing it was a different kind of bondage now. Are these guys just wandering around the island, or are they that good of actors? Things keep getting weirder and weirder. On their way to find their lieutenant, one of the soldiers mentions that they're trying to stop people from being taken over the border to the island. Sounds pretty believable after seeing the not hologram Sloane and everything she's gone through. Patrick's acting like he's seen a ghost when he finally lays eyes on the lieutenant. What? Is this a brother or something? Chaos ensues from there, and Patrick's brain overloads and he faints. Probably a better thing to do than just standing there being a target. Back to Melanie again. The phone rings, but it's just some heavily breathing dude on the other side. It's gross. Behind Sloane appears a big Texas Chainsaw Massacre looking guy.
Dr. Torture.
Turns out it's her old therapist, Dr. Torture, and his mouth is sewn shut. It's freaky. Melanie might end up being the most resourceful person in the movie at this point. She tells him to cut off her finger on her right hand and shocks him with the mini taser thing and then dumps water on him. Now she's probably in trouble though. Really? Not like a true bully. Doesn't even know Melanie's name. She still thanks her for saving her life. Ain't that the truth?
You saved my life.
The bros continue to party hard until the gunmen rain on their parade. They head to the panic room and call Rourke, but he gives them the whole "you have to see the fantasy through to the natural conclusion" BS and says that the problem with having it all is that people want to take it. Looks like Chastity and the other models didn't like him that much. I'll even admit that I didn't think it was the direction Rourke was going to take with their fantasies, but it makes sense. Are these the same guys with Patrick? I don't think so. They're wearing creepy clown masks. The bros do the most sensible thing in that situation.
We surrender!
Melanie doesn't want to tell Sloane that she's the reason that she's on the island. She blames Meredith, whoever she might be. Wow, Sloane, ever stop to think that maybe that's why you're there? Well, Sloane almost died again. Apparently the big man is impervious to electrocution. Good thing for the girls, Machete Man saves the day, unlike how he helped Patrick.
Unless your fantasy is to die, you better come with me.
Yeah, I agree. You should go with him. At least he has a weapon. R.I.P. Dr. Torture, eyes popping out like grapes. Hopefully he's dead for real this time. Gwen's fantasy's going alright, until she's rudely awoken by some nasty arm. Is that Swamp Man again? Meanwhile, Patrick's still out in the jungle, trying not to die like he's in Vietnam. He must have so many questions. And Swamp Man strikes again. Nah, just a dream. Unlike this super messed up fantasy. Wait, Dazed and Confused. Did he just say that came out last year? See, something smells funny again. Now we're getting weird elements of time travel. Oh, snap. He's his dad. Yeah, definitely some weird time travel elements have entered the fray. This movie's getting a little wonky. They have a real father and son moment. Patrick was a fighter like Muhammad Ali, his dad used to tell him. Well, he better be, cause he's gonna need to be the one strong dude to wade through this mess of crap. Patrick tells his dad the truth, that he's been dead. He thinks that the island somehow knew that seeing his pops again was what he really needed. So far, the only one to suggest that the island is intuitive. Gwen decides to go talk to him after finding the screen on her phone changed to a picture of her wedding with Alan. He's definitely the guy to confront, but what he shows her is freaking weird. Alan is older, and now they have a little girl. This seems like a sick game, but Rourke says the island has powers. If you wish hard enough, then crazy things can happen. Oh, like manifest memories that didn't happen? He gives her some story about how his wife died, and the island brought her back to life as long as he stays there and thinks about the fantasy. His story seemed fabricated, but Gwen's apparently gullible. Patrick's dad decides that he wants to try and escape the island. He's not exactly happy about hearing that he dies. Who can blame the guy? Patrick's upset and says that his dad won't die a hero then. But Dad doesn't care. Jumping on the grenade doesn't sound so awesome now apparently. They start fighting and throwing each other around in the water. It almost looks fun. Patrick might have convinced them to stay. JD and Brax are in trouble with the gunman. Some dude's working for Kalashov or something like that. Damn, at least we know JD can take a punch. Probably not the time to make jokes with a guy who punched you in the face a second ago. Kalashov wants to know what they did with the cash and cocaine. Obviously, they don't know what he's talking about. Okay, JD, probably better just to keep your mouth shut. I'm with JD. That's messed up. Starts cutting into, wait, did he actually cut him? Not sure what the plan is here when they don't have the money or cocaine. Gwen's story's making me sad. She's got this cute family, but you know it's not gonna last long. Where's the awful side to her fantasy? There has to be one somewhere. Oh, apparently she's just gonna ruin her own fantasy. It was going so well.
To make things right.
Yeah, enjoy him while you can. What's her problem? Machete Man Damon is taking the girls on a night-long trek through the jungle to some cave. Who's this guy on her phone that she keeps looking at? Oh great, because we also needed cave creatures creeping around on top of everything else. Is she being stalked by herself? Well, that's not good. Yeah, anything crawling on the ceiling like that screams possession. Watched way too many scary movies to know that. What's better than creepy possessed twins? Wading through waist-deep sea snake-infested water, that's what. I'm getting sick of the mysterious swamp man they keep seeing. Hopefully we get some answers eventually. Oh yeah. What in the world is that? According to Damon, the sci-fi rock thing causes the fantasies to happen. He scoops some water out into a canteen and tells Melanie that she has to take it with her off the island and tell everyone about what happens there. Then he slips that Melanie's a guest.
And you're just a guest.
Sloane's not happy. Her rescuer was also the person responsible for her being there. Ouch. Well, like a true bully, she downplays what she did to her as a couple pranks. Sloane really needs to work on her empathy and people skills. Damon takes them to the hotel. More snake references. we find Julia. You remember her, right? Last time we saw her, she had a nosebleed. She's looking a little rough. Apparently, the reason for Gwen wanting to change her fantasy is that now that she knows it can perform such wild miracles, maybe she can prevent someone from dying 6 years ago. But what do you think the island's gonna do to your daughter and husband? Gwen figures out that there's some manipulation at hand with Rourke and the island, and she makes him change her fantasy. There's that dang dripping. You know, I'm starting to feel like this movie isn't what I thought it'd be. Gwen runs to her apartment. The fire's already started. Wait, is that? There's another twist for you. Someone named Nick is trapped on the 4th floor.
I'm gonna go get help, okay?
Gwen runs to get help. Another twist. Is that Patrick? Well, you chickens out. That's funny. Well, she's gonna try and probably die for it. Brax is leading the bad guys downstairs where the fancy armory is. Alejandro for the clutch. That was pretty cool. Damon gives the girls a nice dad talk since they're acting like petty teenagers. Good talk, Dad, aka Damon, aka Machete Man. He's the real hero. Oh my god. Dr. Torture's still alive? It's like Patrick's dad said. A hero, some guy who's too stupid to stay alive. Maybe the girls will make something of his sacrifice and actually get off the freaking island at some point. Speaking of Patrick's dad, their crew is soldiering on up to the fancy house where JD and Brax are with the Kalashov gang. Brax is a total badass and comes up with a plan that seems to be working so far. Hopefully, he just doesn't accidentally let go of the grenade. Patrick sees Brax with the mask and the grenade and tries to stop him, almost getting them all killed. No, not JD. Who's Brax gonna live with now? Do the guys come back as zombies? Yep, definitely zombies. Melanie and Sloan go back to the bunker and use the weird switchboard to call Sloan's husband, Will. He barely does it though because his wife was a floozy, but thankfully he makes the call to the number Damon gave him. Gwen's dragged out of the fire by a coughing Julia, but she tells her that she wasn't successful. Poor Nick got burnt up, I guess. Huh? Whose fantasy is that mess? The 4 of them try to escape to the docks, but Rourke and his ugly henchmen show up. Gwen makes an appearance, calls out the coincidences that are going on. It's all about her upstairs neighbor, Nick, who died in the fire. JD and Brax were his roommates, and Melanie was supposed to be on a date with him but stood him up. She realizes they all had a hand in his death, and apparently the island's answer is for all of them to die. It's pretty rough. Damon's plane shows up and gets shot down right away by the Kalashov gang, but they can't shoot the people that are right in front of them. The team works on figuring out how to escape the island, and the girls tell them about the spring with the magic stone. Destroy the stone, stop the fantasies, right?
It's worth a shot.
Should work. Down into that creepy cave again. And of course they all get separated. What else would we expect from a Scooby-Doo gang? Everyone just takes their own route to the stone, even though the girls are the only ones who know where it is. Yeah, just some sea snakes, huh? Sea snakes with hands? Look, it's the Sloan twin. Poor Brax. Just can't get away from the guilt of JD's death. Ugh, she's even more horrible than the real Sloan. Dang, she almost had him. How many times you gotta kill Mr. Torture? Jeez, so much jumping around. Come on, Patrick. Fight him off. It's not your real dad anyways. Just some weird jelly-eyed monster. Gwen finds her daughter bashing Alan's face in. Turns out our swamp man is really Nick.
Who's Julia?
I guess just extra crispy. Until Melanie? Turns out Julie isn't the one making this happen. Well, I guess we should have seen that one coming. The traumatized girl who never had friends. Nick was her soulmate, and they got him killed. Aw, it's pretty sad. But did she say that they only went out once? Sloane's upset. She felt like she was changing for the better, but Melanie's actually the sociopath this time. Teamwork makes the dream work, guys.
She went out with him one time?
That's what I'm saying, Brax. They make it to the spring, and Gwen's gonna blow up that stupid rock when Rourke shows up. Come on. Turns out Julia is Rourke's wife. I guess he was kinda telling the truth. Explains why poor Julia is nice and also sick. Gwen calls him out on letting his wife die over and over again forever. Rourke's a little bee and won't destroy the rock. The only hope is that Julia can make him realize his crappy ways. Rourke makes the comment that everyone can have a fantasy.
So if you drink the water, you get one.
What about Sloan? She pulls an Uno reverse card on Melanie, and instead of her and her husband getting back together, she thinks of Melanie and Nick. Everyone's melting. Melanie still needs her revenge apparently. And Patrick still needs to be a hero. What? Was it a dream? I hate it when movies do this stuff. Oh, great, no, it wasn't. Rourke comes out with a picture of Patrick and his dad and hangs it up on his wall.
But I want to get the hell off this island.
Yeah, Sloan, it's time to leave. Brax decides to stay for JD. That's it, viewers. You've seen the recap for Fantasy Island, starring Michael Pena, Maggie Q, and Lucy Hale. Released in 2020 by the production companies Columbia Pictures, Blumhouse Productions, and the Tower of Babel Entertainment. Let us know whatever you want to say down below in the comments with the hashtag Cinema Recap. And if you felt all this, go ahead, hit a like, and subscribe if you're not already with us. As always, guys, till next time.